My Little Pony on the DS, and we'll be good to go. Boom, we're there.
All right. Here we are, guys. I'm gonna be talking about. Do we have any audio or video or any of that
We
shit?
got
I thought
video
I.
going,
No, we
yeah.
got
I
video.
don't have
Who's video?
audio.
Some random guy.
So we did all what the hell is this dude's name? Diamond Long Plays is the video we're using.
Oh,
The
dope,
YouTube
dope,
channel.
dope.
So go check them out if you want to see this whole long play.
Oh,
Because we
nice.
didn't have captured video of
Oops.
your stuff. It
I did my best.
expired. Yeah, I mean
I
you
did my
did
best.
stream it, but it expired
I
before we
probably
were
should
able
have
to.
filmed the ending, but I was just like chilling and doing it, and it kind of just happened, and I was like, I guess I'm beating the game now.
Yeah.
So, yes, the game we're talking about is Yoshi's Crafted World, developed by Nintendo, released apparently on March 29, 2019. This bad boy was in the height of COVID, definitely overshadowed by Animal Crossing, I would say. Like, I didn't even know that this came out then. I thought it came out in 2020. Wait, no, this was the year before that. So this was like a totally fell through the cracks game.
Mhm.
This came out like a year before all that bullshit went
Yeah,
down,
right.
and
Yeah,
games
year before
games
the
weren't
pandy.
games weren't really in massive demand at the time. I feel like before that, because like now every game is under high scrutiny now that the internet is like in our brain because of like being stuck at home all the time and whatever.
Yeah.
But before that, it was pretty much if a game stood out, it stood out. And Yoshi games tend to not, although they were big. And Yoshi's Island and Story, to an extent, are huge games. Island is a huge game. It's like a really big Super Nintendo staple. But I don't know how well Yoshi translates over time, because to me, when I hear a Yoshi game coming out, I'm like, this is going to be great. It's like Mario, but we have a different style of play. It's more slow, puzzle like, and there is still some intense platforming, but there you are a different mechanical being than Mario, but it is still very much a Nintendo platformer. So that's what I expect when I expect a Yoshi game. And let's see. We pretty much don't disappoint on that front. We'll get into that in a sec. Let's see, when else? Played on the Switch. It's only available on the Switch. This game costs, I think it was like $45. It might be like $40 now or something plus tax.
It goes
So
on
it's
sale
pretty.
all the time,
It
but
goes on sale. Yeah.
typically Nintendo games maintain their value.
Yeah, Nintendo games maintain their value hard. Like, ask that to any Smash Bros. Or Zelda game ever. It's like insane. And it's just because Nintendo is, again, not on any other platform. So, like, you're going to only be able to get it. You know what I mean? It's like one of
Yeah.
those things. It's not like games are reprinted really frequently. Like a remake, sure. But that's not necessarily going to reduce the value of the previous game, because now that other cartridge is 20 years old. So it's more of a collector's at this point. Like, Nintendo does it like Disney, where like your box set is still going to be worth so much because the next one comes out on DVD. You know what I mean? So like it's not even the same like thing anymore. That being said, Nintendo's really good about reinventing themselves. So what did I like about this game? This is a Yoshi game. It's great. If you like Yoshi's Story and Yoshi's Island, this is kind of a nice hybrid. It's definitely childlike. This game is not as hardcore as even Mario. Like, this was made for the abilities of 3 and 4 year old people to be able to beat it, while also being able to maintain the attention of 35+ year olds. You know what I mean? People that are Yoshi's Island fans. And as a Yoshi's Island fan, I played this and said, wow, to a lot of things that were referencing it
Mhm.
in mechanics, in things that were in the game and stuff like that. So there are a lot of things that I feel like if even you the last game you played was Yoshi's Island, or I mean, obviously if you didn't play one, this would be a good entry point because it is easy.
Mhm.
But if Yoshi's Island was the only one you ever played, I think this would be a good way to segue back into the series. Let's see what else. I don't like talking about the didn't like that fast. Let's see the gameplay. So the gameplay was super interesting. If you can, there's two styles to this game, which is really unique. I had first tried to 100% it, and so I did all of the different types of styles. One is basically you play through the level straight up, and you can collect it, you can collect and do all the puzzles and whatever, and 100% the level if you want, which became tedious at a certain point.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that's kind of in the what I didn't like is that as much as I loved collecting in Yoshi's Island, it's not the same. It's not just 5 flowers and 10 red coins in every level. Now you and being at full health, of course. It's now being at full health, 20 red coins and anywhere from 5 to 10 flowers per level. And then there are also hidden items in each level that you have to collect. And every time you collect one, you have to go back to give it to the guy in the main world, then go back and get another. It's like not just like collect them all at once
Mhm.
type scenario. So you are designed to play these levels multiple times. And so that's a fun, like regular way to just kind of get through the game. But then There is kind of the hardcore platforming mode, which I really appreciated. I wish you could have just played the levels outright like this. But there's a flip side. When you beat the level for the first time, you can play it like in reverse, kind of from the end of the level to the beginning, and you collect this is a lot. You collect the three Poochies, like just like find them in the background and shoot them with an egg or whatever, and collect them,
Mhm.
and then get to the finish as fast as possible. So it's like your speed running version, and all you have to do is do the three checkpoints, basically the three Poochies, and then make it. So I appreciated that there was like a fast version of this game also for people that were more into the platforming. So the platforming is decent. If you're a Mario fan, you're gonna feel a lot of that tightness. Like Nintendo is very good about platforming. It's like what they were born on.
Yeah,
Um,
to me, it felt a little dumbed down compared to a
I
Mario.
agree. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say it felt exactly like Mario. It was definitely dumbed down compared to Mario. Mario is much more acrobatic and
Mhm.
precise, and Yoshi's not as fast for sure. But when you're full throttle in the Poochie levels, I was like, some of it felt really precise as far as level trust, I like to call, which is where Nintendo designs a level for you to be able to go full throttle, all out, not stop at all. Like sometimes stop for like tricky parts and stuff, but like for the most part, Nintendo loves to, and a lot of platforming games do this, lets you just go as fast as possible. Like you'll go full throttle, you'll jump on an enemy, you'll land on him perfectly because you didn't stop and he just happened to be in this spot because of that. You know what I mean? And you land on this next thing perfectly because you were able to go at that momentum, and the level just kind of flows perfectly. And so Yoshi kind of has that. I noticed, at least when I was doing the Poochie levels, I would like run and I'd be like bouncing perfectly off of bad guys. And like if I didn't skip a beat and just trusted that the level would like flow, then it was a lot more, it was awesome, I thought. So
Right.
that's kind of like a thing Nintendo is good at. They know how to like optimize a level, basically. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they make it so that if you're playing as hardcore as possible, there is like a route for that, which is really sweet, I think. And
Absolutely.
there's a
Yeah.
slow chill route. Let's see. So let's see. What's that? I thought I had a thing.
Getting attacked by
Um
something.
I thought I had a fly, yeah. I was like, no, this flies all over. The music and the art. Let's see. The art. The art was really good. Actually, kind of a lot of people probably knocked this game because it's not like real Yoshi. I don't know how to explain it. It's like felt like arts
Yeah.
and craft world Yoshi and shit. But the art style was really cool, and a lot of the cutscenes were really well done because of that. And honestly, some of Nintendo's best graphics that could hold up, I think, as far as like the models are concerned, just because of how they did it. I won't say dumbed down because Yoshi's story is literally the exact same thing, except it kind of looks more real worldy, but it's taken to the extreme in this game where everything is
Yeah.
literally arts and crafts. But we did kind of see that in Yoshi's story, so we
Yoshi
shouldn't be
Story's
too
got that kind of
surprised.
pastel thing going on.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got pastel, but it is
But
literally like
it's
a book.
more,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And
Yoshi's story. Like
it's
you're in a
still more
cutout
in
book.
like a classic like Super
Yeah.
Mario style.
Like you are still Yoshi though, and all
Mhm.
that. I will say, as far as the controls and the handling is concerned, though, you handle probably the best only next to Yoshi's Island as far as like Yoshi's actual like handling and tightness.
Right.
You are definitely faster in Yoshi's Island, but you handle pretty well in this game. The art I thought was pretty good, but again, like it's gonna hold up, but it's not necessarily like iconic Yoshi slash Mario
Right.
because you are still like craft and shit. The music, it's not my favorite, honestly. There's always like that main theme, and then they repeat it in every level for all the Yoshi games and stuff.
Mhm.
But in this one, it is much less subtle. So, like, you have your underground theme, you have your underwater theme, your space theme, all that. And it's usually the same song changed and repeated. And in Yoshi's story, they do this so fucking well that you don't even know until you're like in the middle and you hear like the or whatever, like the main theme like repeating there for a second. You're like, oh yeah, nice remix. I didn't even notice. And in this one, it's much less like that. And every fucking song is like the same fucking song, and they're not
Yeah.
even trying to hide it. It's just like a little tweak. And they also overuse them a lot. There's not a lot of variation in the music, which I thought was a little disappointing. It's not Nintendo's best work,
Yeah, I was gonna
as
say,
far
especially
as
for a
yeah,
Nintendo game,
yeah.
like that's something they usually nail on the head.
I think the music is good, but if you're, it's like watching 18 episodes of The Office straight. You're gonna fucking start to hate that theme song and like or
Yeah.
whatever, like the
Yeah.
same shit, and you're just like, oh, I like would start a level and be like, please just don't be that song, and it would be that fucking song again. And I'm like, ah, dude, just like anything else, like at least Mario has enough like tonal variation, but all of these songs, even the slight variations, were like not different enough for me. And Yoshi's Island was so vast and amazing. We had Koji Kondo and everything on that. And Yoshi's Story, it had the trope of using the same song over and over again, but it did it in such a vast way that you didn't notice. This one kind of tried to do that, and it was not varied enough. So I will say sound design is the biggest hit probably on my review here tonight, but still was good. It like was not bad music,
Just not
but it's just
necessarily the standard you're
yeah,
looking for.
not
Yeah.
the standard I'm looking for, and the utility of it was not well executed, fully at least. Um, how long did the game take me? I attempted to 100% it at first and then realized that was a squandered effort because of it having way too much collecting. And after you beat the game, there's even more collecting and secret levels and all that, which I thought was great. But literally, you can beat this game in 3 hours, probably less. I bet the speed run for this is like an hour or something. It is so fast. And this should be a topic actually that I'm about to say. This is kind of dipping again into like what I didn't like about the game before I go full throttle into it is a game that can be beaten in an hour and a half casually running through it. And like, I'm not even like speed running through it at that point. Like, I can just walk through the game and beat it in like 3 hours, let's say. And I'm just like, that was a good game. I enjoyed it. I didn't get everything, but I enjoyed it. And then extra content and 100%ing it, even if you play every level, that's 3 hours, right? 4 hours maybe. Now you're 100%ing the game. This is probably a 65-hour, 70-hour game to 100%. There is so much, and you have to replay the level so much. And it's like, you're giving us a 4-hour game that's really like 80 hours. Should I be grateful or should I be annoyed that there isn't more at its core? I want this to be a 20-hour game that turns into a 40-hour game instead of a 3-hour game that turns into a 60-hour game. I'm like,
Mhm.
the gap here is crazy, in my opinion. Some levels had so much daunting stuff to unlock. Like each level with the Poochie side and the front side of collecting and the secret items, like 20 flowers. You need flowers were the thing to collect. 20 flowers per each level. And there's like 2 or 3 levels per area, and there's like 20 areas. I'm like, okay, I love the amount of levels, but I don't like that you're inundating us with like really like redundant collectathons. And like it
Right.
wasn't like that in the original, especially Yoshi's Story had like no collecting. It was the
Right.
fruit
Yeah, it was
only.
pretty
I was like,
straightforward.
it's
Yeah.
really straightforward. And Yoshi's Island, like I said earlier, you had those 3 things to collect: full health, 10 red coins, 5 flowers in each level. And literally, this one is full health, which you have twice as much health now. And it's much harder to come by, even though you can get shields, which look stupid on Yoshi. He literally like wears like a sack of potatoes or some shit. like, and
He's
then
wearing a
20
train in
red
this
coins.
video.
Yeah, and then 20 red coins, which is twice as many, which is horrible. And then any number again from 5 to I've seen 10 flowers in each level, which is again potentially twice as many. So it's like, why? And then the Poochie sides, which is 4 per level. And I'm like, why are you doing this to us? And then secrets as well. So I'm like, it's quite enough. Like with Mario, you should be able to unlock all the levels. Okay, and Donkey Kong does this really well. This is the one actually. You can beat all, there's usually 40 levels in a Donkey Kong game and then secret levels. You beat all 40 levels and you feel really accomplished. And then you get like a few more levels. And then when you like finally piece by piece, like absorb and beat all of the game, then you unlock like a secret world or something like that. And then you get to like revel in you having unlocked every, you know what I mean? But like to make it so sparse and all over the place, it just doesn't feel like I already unlocked the secret levels. I don't know why I got to collect all the flowers now. I'm
Right.
like, what is this? Is so stupid. So that was a little, yeah, that was all over the place for me too. So yeah, that goes all into how long did it take me? Like literally, this game I think is too short as far as like just like casual play is concerned. If you're a collectionist or a completionist, this is right up your alley. The game difficult? 1 out of 10. This is literally one of the easiest
Yeah.
games I've ever played. It is absolutely not hard through any of it. I loved the bosses, and I thought the level design was great, and a lot of it definitely Nintendo's level design and boss factor. But I literally came out with most of my health in the final boss, and then the secret levels were like you could run through them really quick. So I was like, man, this is nothing compared to Donkey Kong. This is like
Right.
1 out of Donkey Kong being 10, like for Nintendo standards. So it's definitely a light platformer, and you can't be mad at that. People need that also.
Sure.
And then would I play a sequel? Probably. I think I enjoyed it enough. And then what else did I not like about the game, real quick, before we get into everything else? Um, it was really just that collecting and that bullshit. They just like didn't tighten it up. The music, and it wasn't co-op, which is like
It
crazy
is
to me.
co-op.
I feel like this could. It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is
never mind.
100%
Bravo.
co-op. Yeah, I
Oh, it's
play this with
co-op.
my wife co-op. Yeah.
Well, so now that it's co-op, I'm glad, and I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Maybe did I mean online co-op? It's not online co-op though, is it?
It may not be online co-op. I don't know about that.
Oh,
It's
see, that would be gold.
100% local co-op for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like a real thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's co-op. That's great.
I
Play with your
bought this
friends.
game to play with my wife because she's not much of a gamer, but
Hmm.
she loves Yoshi and, you
That's a
know.
null point for me. Okay, so I'm gonna erase that out of my mind. The time, like there, that's really it. But what I did like about this game, just to reiterate, it is a really smooth, fun platformer. If you're a Mario fan, it's kind of like a why not. Yoshi's really charming. The story is cute, and again, the whole game is very charming, and I think well put together. I think the
Mhm.
cutscenes and animation looks really good. And if you don't play it like religiously, like I did, and just like beat it thoroughly, which I kind of regret now. I wish I had played it a little more casually. Then
Mhm.
the music won't really bother you that much
Right.
because, like, I was trying to like play the same level a few times to collect shit, and that's probably also why the music kind of irritated me. That being
Right.
said, it still is a thing, but so yeah, pretty fun game. Let's see, overall impression and rating. So let's see. I would probably give this. A 7.8, I think. And
See,
I think
that
that's
seems high to
pretty
me,
that seems high, yeah. And
especially
I thought
considering all
about
your criticisms.
yeah, I think maybe it might be closer to a 7.5 or 6.
Mm.
But I feel like 7.8 because the criticisms stand, but the core gameplay is super fun.
Mhm.
And the gameplay loop of just like going and platforming through the levels and just like shooting random shit with eggs and stuff like that is super fun.
Sure.
And the levels are like intuitively designed and creative enough that like when you go to the spooky world, like the shy guys come out of the ground like zombies, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
everything's like tweaked just enough in a charming way that doesn't feel like I'm getting rehashed enemies and bullshit. And
Mhm.
like the only thing that was really rehashed was the music. So I would say the positives definitely outweigh the negatives on this game. I think 7.6 is
Seven
pretty
six.
good.
Locking it
Seven
in at
six.
seven
Let's
six.
lock it in. Yeah, that's probably one of my lowest Nintendo ratings yet. But again, that is a pretty good score, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's
If
a
you're a
really good score.
if you're a hardcore like me who normally consumes Donkey Kong and Cuphead and shit like that, this is definitely going to be a 7.6 for you. If you are a 3-year-old or never played a platformer before and really want to get into it, or love collectathons and you love Mario and Yoshi in every way, then this might be a 10 for you, honestly. This game, like if you're a hardcore Yoshi's Island fan and you like love every iteration of Yoshi that has come out so far, then I think you will love this game a lot.
Yeah.
So, not for everyone, definitely for a lot of people. And I'd say it's definitely worth playing. And there is a demo in the eShop as well. And the
Mhm.
first level is pretty fun. That's why I bought it, because the first level is pretty fun.
Yeah.
The game is not necessarily worth buying at full price, but it's always on sale, like Paul said. I'd
Yeah.
say it's worth it at like $30. I think for like it's pretty damn fun for a 20 or $30 game, I would
Mhm.
say. But at like $40 to $50, I maybe, I probably got my money's worth at least for the review sake. But
I would
yeah,
also another caveat to all this that I would say, like, if this is something, if it's a game that you like, let's say you have kids, or like in my case, my
yeah,
wife likes Yoshi, but she's not really a gamer. Like, this game is actually kind of ideal for that, because
exactly.
it's not so challenging that, like someone who's not a gamer, or someone who's like a young person, a kid, would get like very frustrated with it.
Exactly.
Um, it's very charming, and you can play it co-op, so like, you
That's
can
huge.
help them through that, and again, I think it's just locally co-op, but yeah, I mean I think
Yeah.
that makes a difference. So,
I
um,
will go as far as to say this is even more user friendly of a game than Pokemon Snap. This is like the most user friendly game Nintendo has ever made, I think. It's
yeah.
like so fucking easy to get into, and
Mhm.
like you don't barely have like it makes actually ingenious use of the controller, whereas the most common complaint I've had with people first learning how to play video games is the controller is difficult, and this is a real thing in adults and everything. I
Yeah.
tried to teach people how to play, and they're like, I just don't understand how the controller is fucking me up. So 3D games are really difficult for people that have that issue.
Mhm.
Platformers are really ideal. That's why I think Link's Awakening is the best
Yeah.
for Zelda, also because it is kind of. But because of this, it kind of lets you train that by like you hold a button and then you get to move your cursor all around. So it's
Mhm.
really good for eye hand coordination and like kind of training your gamer brain. You
Mhm.
move the cursor to shoot the egg and it kind of goes in the back and foreground as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
So I think all of that is really cool. And like, if you're a beginning gamer, that would easily train you into like you learning how to be like kind of more, what's the
Yeah.
word? Like, yeah,
Dexterous.
that's the word. Exactly. Like dexterous with a controller.
Yeah.
Because for me, I have really good eye-hand coordination in real life. And it's because of gaming. I'm
Right,
almost
right.
certain. Like it has to be. But it's cool that that's what I can attribute it to. I'm pretty sure. Like I can
Mhm.
like move my hands and know that what is going to happen with my eyes. Like that's what gaming basically teaches you. So
Yeah.
anyway, great game. Play it.
There you go. That's the review.
Nintendo does it. Nintendo does it again.
They did it